Hello and welcome to another edition of the SportsHeads, the Hurry Up edition. This is the first one of the new year, so happy new year to you, and we've missed you. I hope you've missed us. I'm Andre Dixon, still stuck in my bunker. We're still on lockdown of some type of, sequel. I'm worried to the fact that I'm never going to get out of here, but it is what it is. At least I have you guys as company. I'm joined by Sam Morgan. How are you, sir?
Great, mate. Yeah, and like you said, it still feels like 2020. Have we gone into a new year?
Mate, honestly, it's literally just feels like a continuation of the same story. This is Empire Strikes Back for sure. And I'm joined by my bestie, Hannah Wilkes. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Happy 39th of December.
Yeah, yes. That one.
This year keeps on going on and on and on. Honestly, it's don't worry. We've got a lot of football to be able to keep us distracted, at least for this weekend. My God, at least we get a nap in between all of these games. I can't complain because then that means that it's near the end of the season, so we're going to enjoy every moment of it. And I'll be back next week with red eyes. But before we start, let's talk about just briefly about the incidents that happened in the States. In the Washington DC, capital of the states, on Wednesday, absolutely atrocious. I think it will be really, sad and bad of us not to actually mention how, mortified, especially people who love the States. Obviously, we're based in the UK, but we are, anyone who loves and adores the States and or has family there, you're quite worried about the actions of the few idiots that there are, and I was just literally just blown away the fact that they could get away with going into such a prestigious building and just ruining it and just putting up racist flags, wearing racist apparel, disrespecting the place where they actually make laws, and it's supposed to be a place of civility. But to be honest with you, I expect no less. At least we're near the end of Donald Trump's reign. If you don't agree with it, it is what it is. This is our take. But guys, what was your quick take on what you saw?
Who wants to take this one?
Yeah, he's the brave one.
I'll jump in. You know what it is? It is once again just another scene of shock horror, I suppose. For me, from what I've seen last year leading up to this, it was a little bit of a shock to see that they actually did it, but it was also no surprise that it did actually happen, because I think there's been so much sort of escalating, and the words from the unfortunate previous president, we're going to always lead this way. It is just frightening that they're doing it on their own turf. And yeah, I think right now it's taking the shine away from what you said is a great country. We all like to go and visit. We obviously are here talking about their great sports that they do have. So it is a shame to sort of put this sort of a shadow over what's going on over there. But yeah, we're on the other side of the pond. We got our own issues, unfortunately, and it's just hopefully we don't obviously go to these lengths. And I don't think anyone would even think about trying to storm Westminster right now in the UK. So it kind of shows maybe the levels over there. But I'm just going to watch from afar. Hopefully things work out properly and people stay as safe as possible. That's all you can hope for, really. And I don't want to say too much without getting into trouble.
I think it was utterly terrifying to see, and almost like watching something out of a movie. And I've actually seen a screenwriter write on Twitter, do you have any idea how hard it is to have people feasibly in a movie storm a government building? And these guys just walked straight in. So I think the ease with which they got in there is very concerning, really terrifying. And I can only imagine how scary it must be for Americans at the moment. But there's a sense of inevitability, isn't there, when you've got someone in power that is talking the way that he has for so long. That the bubble up, and it was always going to happen, and it was terrifying to actually see. The good news is the grown-ups are coming. Biden and Kamala will be sworn in later this month, and hopefully America will be able to put this part of very dark day in American history behind them and move forward. And those that were involved as well will hopefully be found and will suffer the consequences.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, lastly on it is, I think that I'm speaking personally, is what I found. I don't expect any less from these types of people. I mean, as soon as I saw that stage was set up right near where they're just down the road from where they're actually going to be confirming that he's not going to be the president anymore, and he's obviously heaping a lot of pressure on his his vice president to be able to do something that he actually is enabled to be able to do legally. He's never going to do it. It's this delusion that he's actually feeding, these lies that he's feeding the fans, and he's riling them up. And then you're hearing things like, okay, we're going to go there and combat and protest with combat, and we're going to do this, we're going to all of these things. But what I don't expect any less from him or his supporters, because they're just filled with hate. But what I was actually more disappointed with is the fact that the police weren't giving the same energy that peaceful protests were happening in the summer for George Floyd, Black Lives Matter protests. It was just like you're helping these people down the stairs. And don't get me wrong, we're not looking for people to be knocked down the stairs and injured. And I know obviously there's a fatality in the actual the Capitol building, but I just feel that there's this softly approach. I think we really do need to actually look into equality, because you don't want people not believing in the police. They're there to help people, not there to assist racists and homophobics. It's a terrible time. This will pass, and things will get better. And but there's another. Just to be clear, that there's another 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks, of this guy still being able to have full power to be able to do what he wants to do. So
for now,
well, let's fingers crossed that they do something, or they find a way to be able to tape his hands to the desk so he can't, and tape his mouth as well. Little bit too late with Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. Moving to, well, don't block me, guys, as well. Just in case. Yeah. So let's move on to the just quick updates with the football. Yes, I am still sulking as a Giants fan. Not being able to make the playoffs because of a fix that was in.
No, I'm sorry, Drake. You don't leave your playoff berth in the hands of another team. Come on, you have to do better throughout the season. You can't. Even the Giants players, although they were clearly annoyed watching the Eagles bench Jalen Hurts and put in a belt, they've acknowledged themselves. You can't leave your destiny to other people. You have to play better. So I'm sorry, you're not allowed to rant. It's boring.
You know what? I would say this. This is the last bit I'll say on this, and because Hannah's had to put up me ranting in capitals for the week. It's more. I think that I don't want the sport to turn into basketball. Because obviously with basketball you can tank on purpose, and obviously we know that there's some teams that when they realize they suck, they just literally just give up. But I would say even the Jags, who won the number one draft pick, they were still trying. Jets at some point will completely dead set on to be able to get number one draft pick. Then they had some pride. I just think that at the end of the day is that what's shameful from Doug Peterson is the fact that he is telling his players and putting his players in harm's way, because obviously you're asking them to be able to give their all, and then you're making a decision to be able to throw the game right at the end. And that in with the spirit of the sport, that's what I care about more than anything else.
Forget the spirit. Win more games in the season, then you don't have to worry about the next last.
No, but
game.
It's not about the Giants, and I think it simplifies things to be able to say it's about the Giants fan. It's about the actual sport, because there's people who are in the playoffs who are angry about it. There are teams that are near with a far better record. It's about the actual integrity of the sport, and I think that I care about that.
With the integrity of the sport thing, but by losing that game, the Eagles moved 3 spots higher in the draft.
Yeah, perfect.
Now look, I don't condone tanking at all. You never want to see a team tank, but I made this point on overtime this week, just playing devil's advocate. Because I agree, you want integrity of games. You want to see games competitive to the end. You never want to see anyone give up. But when it's the last game of regular season and you can move 3 spots higher in a draft, and You also don't know what your quarterback situation is going to be next year in terms of, does Carson Wentz want out? Who's your backup? You need to maybe see your backup play. I think, yes, it's frustrating. Yes, we want to see good games, but maybe it was a bit of longer term thinking. Who knows?
Yeah,
to be honest.
You know what I would say on that is just that at the end of the day is that, you know, if you look at the Steelers actually made the decision beforehand to say, listen, we're going to keep Big Ben out of the loop, out of harm's way, because obviously we've got playoffs. You let the guy play the whole game, because I think it's not fair on Sudfield as well, who came in. I think that there's one. Yeah, go on.
Houston did say to because he had a meeting with the US production team that do the TV game each week. They go through it with the coaches. He did say that he might play Nate Sudfield later on and get a look at him. So it wasn't completely out of the blue.
Well,
Hey, do you know what this is? You just sound very salty, bitter. This is all I'm getting from this conversation. And as Hannah said, 3 spots up in the draft order. That's massive. It's not just 1, 3. That can make or break their season next year.
No, okay. Well, not really. I mean,
wild card.
We will go on to the wild cards, but the integrity of the sport is everything, and it's not
salty,
about.
Salty.
I think it's too simplistic.
We started recording that we had to make sure we did not go over time today, and so
that is true. That is true.
Well into
I'm gonna.
Time that could
be Hannah's the line ref here. Look.
That is true. That is true. You keeping me in line with this one. So let's start off with the playoffs first of all. So we've got a lot of massive games coming up, but let's start off with the Bills, the Colts, tomorrow at 6:05 UK time. So, Hannah, what say you? Who have you got for that?
The Bills. Like, find me a team playing better right now. Find me a quarterback playing better right now. Josh Allen has finally got what he needed in Stephon Diggs. We've known this all season. They started well, they dipped off in the middle, but the last few weeks of regular season, they have been lights out. I mean, if you just look at how Josh Allen is playing, you look at the improvements year on year, what you see in the next gen stats when you look at his progression 3 years in the league is huge. It's remarkable how he's, his completion percentages, how he's selecting when he throws it deep now. He's got more of an awareness of when to sling those deep balls, and when he does it beautifully. And now he's got Stephon Diggs there to catch them. The Colts, they've got their strengths, but I just don't think offensively they're going to be able to keep up with what Josh Allen and the Bills offense are going to do, because they just score points for fun. I mean, they put up over 50 against the Dolphins last week of the season, and that was with Josh Allen only playing about half the game. The Colts defense is good. They've obviously got DeForest Buckner, which is a huge part of what they're able to do. And even if they do a job, I just can't see their offense keeping up with what the Bills do offensively. So the Bills. I mean, I'm surprised this is the first game of the weekend, by the way. I think this maybe should be slightly later on, because it's an entertaining one from a Bills perspective, I think. I'd also think as well, the Bills are the only team I could feasibly see beating the Chiefs down the line. I don't know if but they are the only team I could see potentially beating the Chiefs if it gets to AFC Championship.
I want you to remember who called this way back, when I said that the Bills could actually win the whole thing. They could do. Yeah. Right, that's it. I'm going to put this clip in there, right here. So what say you, sir?
I'm just going to jump ahead, and I don't think the Chiefs will beat the Bills. I'm just going to jump ahead on that one.
I don't necessarily think they will, but I think they're the only team that could.
Okay.
Sorry, fair. Did you say you don't think the Chiefs will beat the Bills? You think the Bills will beat the Chiefs?
I think you could.
The Chiefs won't beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs will beat the Bills.
Sorry, the Bills. the Chiefs will beat the Bills, or the Chiefs won't beat the Bills?
The Bills won't beat the Chiefs. Is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, the Bills ain't going to beat the Chiefs. But anyway, coming back to obviously the game before Hannah blows her whistle and tells me to get off the show. Jonathan Taylor has been the ray of light over the Colts, because, I mean, who has Phillip Rivers got to throw to? T.Y. Hilton under 1,000 yards. He's not really got any big weapons there, and they've obviously gone reliant on the run game. The Bills' defense against the rush has not been too bad. 4.6 yards a carry. I think they'll slow him down, to be honest. And if they do start to air it, Tavius White, decent in the secondary. Bills' secondary is pretty decent. I think they're going to shut up shop. I think this will be a bit of a big scoreline in favour of the Bills. Actually, I don't see this being anywhere near close enough for what we would class as a nice playoff game. I don't see it. So this will be a nice way to ease us into the wildcard games, maybe, Hannah. I think maybe just get a bit of excitement because people will see high scoring, obviously from the Bills. Again, shout out to Stephon Diggs. I like to do it as much as I can, but I think he's been, absolute ray of light there. Him and Josh Allen right now over at the Bills has been actually very entertaining to watch. And I think everyone over at Minnesota now is looking at this going, what did we do? Why didn't we pay the guy? But yeah, credit to them. What will be an entertaining game if they do play the Chiefs, obviously, it will be entertaining. And I think they'll probably put them in a ray of light and sort of see the standard that they've got to when they do play the Chiefs. But yeah, I don't think they'll go further than that, in my opinion. But yeah, definitely a Bills win.
Worth mentioning, they wouldn't meet the Chiefs until the championship game.
Since championship, yeah. But I don't see them.
That's when my prediction is going to definitely happen. But let's move on to Hannah's big game that she's nervous about, so nervous about. Seahawks Rams. I'm going to start with Sam because I know where you're going, Hannah, but I see the fear in your eyes. Sam, who have you got?
I'm actually going to go with the Rams, which Hannah might be happy to hear. No, do you know what it is? The Seahawks. Congratulations, by the way, for the pair of you being in this position, because yes, I'm just going to be sitting peeping through the curtains for this game. But no, honestly, I just watched the Seahawks. For me, I think it's been doing this trajectory for me with the Seahawks, whereas I think the Rams have consistently been like this. It's been up, but like back, and always been at a level for me. That's just my opinion. I think all it will come down to really is actually containing Russell Wilson as much as possible, which I think the Rams, out of all the defenses in the league, have actually got those capabilities to do so. We can see your shirt in the background there. I think Sam Darnold being in there will be, Sam Darnold, Jesus. Darnold will be obviously a bit better, obviously in doing so. Yeah, big 99. And also, I just seen this trajectory, and in any sport, when it comes to business time, you need to be looking at the teams that are in form, and I just don't think the Seahawks have been. I think the Rams have been that little bit better. The other thing I would say is your backup QB was actually pretty damn impressive.
I loved him. I want him to play this weekend. I really do.
I think the shock is the fact that you had the options there, the option read there. Like he could move, and Jared Goff is. Yeah, exactly.
I've never seen a Rams quarterback, run with a football in the last 5 years. It was very exciting.
It was good. It was good to watch if you're a neutral in that sense. But honestly, I think that will cause a bit of havoc actually for the Seahawks, and I do see the Rams going on to win this. I can see Dre's itching to disagree. I can feel it. But yeah, Rams for me.
I'll let Hannah go before. Let me see what you guys are saying. Full house.
This is the thing. I had to do my Super Bowl challenge bracket on Monday, and I picked the Seahawks. I think I've probably started to change my mind a little bit, but I always think it's really hard to tell between these two teams, especially this year. Both times they've met in regular season, it's one apiece. I think the Rams' defense is the worst nightmare for Seattle because all they've got is their offense. And when they've met before, Jalen Ramsey completely shut down DK Metcalf, took him out of the game, which is what you need to do. My concern, as always, with the Rams, and of course the defense is scoring and they're doing good on scoring, so we get points through the defense. My concern is continuing to be the offense. I don't have a lot of faith if it's Jared Goff playing, because we don't know what the situation with his thumb is. I don't have a lot of confidence in him leading the offense to pick up a load of points.
Look at this.
And John Wolford, as much as I love watching him, love what he didn't actually score any points offensively bar a field goal. So that is concerning because I think the Seahawks will find a way to score points no matter what. So I don't really know. Obviously, I want the Rams to win. My heart says Rams. My head says Seahawks. And it's very stressful and I might just hide. Although I will say, Aaron Donald has sacked Russell Wilson 13 times in 14 games. So Russell Wilson's going to get hit a lot. I know that's going to happen. I think it's
fence?
I really think it depends a lot on the quarterback, and I think I almost hope they kind of use both of them, because John Wolford is a little bit of an unknown. There's game tape on him now from last week, and he gives something different to what we've usually got. But
you don't sound convincing to me. And
I'm not.
you know,
I'm not convinced. I am 100% not convinced about
so
the Rams game.
so if you're going to put money down, you would say that who are
I
going to
wouldn't.
win?
I think this is the closest of all the wildcard games. I think of all of them, there's a clearer winner, but I think it's gonna be low scoring as well. I can just see it being like the Rams defense putting a stop to Seattle, and then the Rams offense going third and like 3 and out repeatedly. So I'm just.
So are you saying?
I think Cooper Kupp will cause a bit more damage. At the start, exactly. And I think actually, this is what I was just trying to say. Everything that's going right for Rams right now, as I say, that trajectory, whereas the Seahawks is not. And I just think that actually you have some faith in your team.
I know, but I'm scared.
There's no faith.
What I'd like to see is this a little bit. I will have faith in the Rams if they almost use John Wolford a bit like a Taysom Hill. Bring him in occasionally to mix things up a bit and confuse defenses.
I think if
defense wins championships, then the Rams have got this one.
If you're bringing in and out Jared Goff for this game, please expect a trade request after this, because I'm sorry, he is not going to have that at all in any form of way. And then you've got one appearance by your backup quarterback, and you're ready to jump ship. Absolutely scandalous.
I was ready to jump ship before I'd seen what John Wolford could do. So,
well, there's a certain QB that's actually asking for a trade, so you never know what may happen.
Please don't.
With Deshaun Watson in
wondering if that could possibly happen
in a Rams outfit. I think that would look kind of good, I must say.
We don't need him in it. No, please. Don't need him in the look.
Great.
Please.
Before we move on to the next game, I personally think that it's going to be a Seahawks win. And this is not because of Hannah ragging me before we broke for Christmas and making me switch my allegiances altogether. No, I definitely think that the Rams defense have actually improved in the last couple of games. A few sacks they got in the last game.
Defense in the league.
No, I know you got the number one defense in the league, but then you still got beat the last time that you played them as well. So, and you may be able to tie up DK Metcalf, but you have not been able to tie up Tyler Lockett, and then he will be, getting a few touchdowns definitely, tomorrow. That's for sure. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and we'll see who's right next week. Hannah now is not my friend in any form.
This is why I love and hate sport in equal measure, because it's my mood is so affected by what the Rams do. Like, I was not worth talking to the Monday after they lost the Jets. So it's just like.
It's just because of the form, just before, because we've got a lot of other games to get through. But it's just the form. I always say, like, it doesn't matter what people have done during the actual main season, regular season. It matters now. And the Rams are not really convincing to me with the form that they got. I love the Rams. I think they're a great team. I love the head coach. But I just, if I had to put money down, I definitely would put it on the Seahawks now. They seem to be getting a bit of momentum. But we move on to the team that replaced the Giants in the playoffs, but I won't go into that again. We got Washington versus Tampa Bay. Who have you got, Hannah?
I am taking the Bucs for this one. Now, I love what Washington have done this year. I love what Ron Rivera's done, and Alex Smith's come back, and how their defense is playing. Chase Young is lights out, and I do think Chase Young is going to cause Tom Brady some serious problems. But Tom Brady has done what Tom Brady always does, and he is very much peaking at the right time. His last 4 games down the stretch of regular season, he played brilliantly. He had better numbers than I think he's had in any last 4 games of a regular season, or at least for a while. And you look at how their offense is firing. Antonio Brown making catches, Chris Godwin making catches. Mike Evans, I think, is expected to be healthy despite going out of their last game. And then their defense is fairly solid too. So I think the Washington defense is going to put up a fight, is going to put up a challenge, it's going to make their life difficult. But I think offensively, in a similar scenario to sort of the Bills game against Colts, offensively, I can't see Washington having enough firepower to keep up with what the Bucs can do and the points that they can put up. I mean, the Washington defense, I think, are fourth in points allowed as well. So there's the talent's there. I just think offensively, they're not a complete enough team to fully compete with a Buccaneers team that really are firing on all cylinders right at the right time.
Sam, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I see a Bucs win. Mike Evans is going to be a game day decision. But yeah, it's not like we're talking about the Bucs of old, whereas if you lost Evans or Godwin, then you were down to one. The fact that Antonio Brown now, you're seeing that the rock's being shared around quite well, obviously at the Bucs. The thing with the Washington football team, 2 points. Chase Young, yes, for me, defensive player of the year, or rookie defensive player of the year. He's a scary guy. I gotta say, when you see him coming through, it's like watching Predator or something coming through the way he is. Yeah, he is frighteningly quick as well. So there's a great project being built there at Washington, which is actually quite nice to see. Obviously, Antonio Gibson, the running back there, has been pretty impressive. McLaurin, now we're starting to see a little bit more of his capabilities that obviously he's been boosted up to be. My only concern at the moment with them, and the reason why I think they do, I keep saying this, I hate to be the bad guys, move on from Alex Smith. The worry every time they get through is scary. So you as an offensive lineman, I know you're protecting your QB, but your mind should just be solely focused on just stopping your guy. The fear factor of if you do not stop your guy that they get through to your QB, it's a completely different level to everyone else right now. And I've noticed that. I can't remember who they were playing. And one of the defensive line got through, swiped Alex Smith's leg, and it wasn't they got angry, the worry, the fear that they got to him and they got to his bad leg. They need to move on. As I say, it's great that he's made this return, but if you really want to make that step up now, I think it is time. And he's not mobile at all. Zero. He wasn't mobile anyway. Now he has no mobility at all. That any teams know how to play against that. And I just think the Bucs, there's no mercy. Knowing what Bruce Arians is like as well, zero mercy when it comes to what's going on with Alex Smith. That I think they're going to beat up on him for that full time, full quarters, and I think this is going to be a bit of a beatdown again. The only thing that will probably make it close is the Washington special teams, and because I've noticed them come up with some important plays this season. So, but I think Bucs by 3 scores. That's how confident I think it's going to be.
Well, I'm going to move you guys on the hurry up part of our show.
Can I say one more thing that just reminded me? I just remembered. Really quickly.
This is why this.
Andrew Whitworth is expected to return for the Rams, which gives me a lot more confidence.
You see, this is where we got this. This is why we go off it.
Ravens, Titans, anyone? Ravens, Titans.
So let's go to the Ravens Titans.
Yes.
Please, Hannah, can we go to that?
I just remembered it. I was like, oh no, I have to put that in there. Ravens Titans. Again, the Ravens are a team that have they had some problems this season, least of all with COVID and Lamar Jackson just not playing like Lamar Jackson and their defense not showing up first half of the season. But since they shook off their big COVID issues, they are another team that are peaking at the right time. You don't want to be playing great football in September and not playing good football in January, and they very much are. It's a revenge game, of course, from last year as well, when the Titans knocked the Ravens out in the wild card, and Lamar Jackson had an absolute nightmare. So he's got a serious sort of playoff monkey on his back that he needs to shake off. The interesting thing for me, I think you've got 2 elements here. Ravens are, as a team, first in rushing against Derrick Henry. And then also you've got the fact that the Titans have got absolutely no defense. Like none. Look what the Texans did to them last week. Their defense is 28th in total defense. They're last on third down. They're terrible in the red zone as well. So for me, I think the Ravens have got this one, and Lamar Jackson needs to think of it as a regular season game, not a playoff game, to make sure that they don't have any more sort of hiccups. And I think the Ravens defense is good as well, particularly against the pass, which means Ryan Tannehill is going to have to run everything through Derrick Henry. So you kind of know what the game plan is going to be. Because think about the Titans is a 3-man team. It's Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and AJ Brown. So if you minimize that and the Ravens defense can shut down the pass game, then everything has to go through Henry, who is a difficult man to stop. Do not get me wrong. But I think the Ravens got this one because the Titans have literally got no defense. Oh, and you need defense in the playoffs as well.
Sam, this is why we run over, because this one here. Sam, what say you?
I'm actually going with the Titans. I'm going with the Titans because the Ravens. Yeah, I think you just alluded to it there. It's not just Lamar Jackson. Sometimes at the moment, the team as a whole, if the Titans keep it close, the Ravens will panic. And that's the thing there. And I think if they are smart enough, they will just carry on giving the ball to Derrick Henry, because you chew that clock up, you gain the yardage each time, and it just keep it as close as possible. I think that's the game plan. And look, listen, I know you said it's the three of them, but AJ Brown's not a bad receiver. He's not a bad person to air it out to. Even if he's in double coverage, he's looked pretty impressive. But Derrick Henry, my God. If you're trying to stop this guy, he must have to tense up
on his back.
He's rude. He needs to go to detention. I'm telling you, when he goes and just the stiff arms are different. I can't. Every time I watch it, I have to just pause, take a breath myself. I wouldn't even get up if someone stiff armed me that badly. I'd quit. I'm done. Send me to the Canadian Football League after that, so I can earn my money comfortably. Because
there's a few people going there, that's for sure.
Yeah, listen, after that, let me tell you that. But yeah, that's why I think honestly, the game plan for me, if I was in their shoes, I'd say keep it tight and put that panic back into him. If you let him get his tail up, that is the problem. Hannah, I can see you. I can see you.
I'm going to agree with you because Lamar Jackson's actually 1-7 when he's behind at halftime. So if the Titans get in early, then it's that mental battle.
And that's it. And this is what it comes down to. And I always use this expression, obviously, from our game of football, Mr. Alex Ferguson, squeaky bum time. And this is what it is. It is that. And I'm telling you, honestly, Lamar Jackson is squeaking by halftime. And that's why I have to say I'm going to go with the Titans on this one.
I mean, the Ravens got a ridiculous defense, but I don't even know if anyone could stop that He-Man. That is Derrick Henry. I keep on calling him Nelson Muntz from Simpsons because it's ridiculous. Those who know Simpsons know that episode. Please check it out. And it's exactly like that real life. Right, let's go into the quickly with you guys. Let's go into the Saints and Bears. This should be quite straightforward victory for the Saints. But what say you, Hannah?
I can do this one quickly, Dre. You'll be thrilled to know. I mean, you just really. I mean, the Bears will play their best football, I'm sure, but I cannot see them getting past a Saints team that might even have some injury problems. I don't know if Michael Thomas is healthy, which means Emmanuel Sanders might have to move up to number 1 wide receiver. Alvin Kamara's already come back from the COVID list. But even with that considered, I think the Saints are a really complete team. They've got those offensive weapons. Their defense is good as well. And a Bears team that they backed up into the playoffs through the loss of the Cardinals. Sorry, Sam. So it's very difficult for them. And I just can't see how they could possibly get past the Saints. There is nothing I can think of that will give them a way through this one. I think the Saints are just going to have too much for them in all 3 phases of the game, really.
Sam, I'm sitting back because I'm actually shocked. Sam, do you believe in Mitchell?
Really? No one should ever have. No way. Anyone that says they do is
That's
probably
my guy.
just. Yeah. Well, you might be playing Madden or something, and he might be okay. But I'm telling you, no way. Real life, get out of here. Do you know what? Forever, it's always going to be that thing that stays in the mind that they traded up to get Trubisky. We can bring that up every single time. And I'm only saying this just to fill time because there shouldn't be any other discussion than the Saints win. There's
I like
no
that.
more to it.
I like that. Well, this can give us a little bit more time to be able to discuss the beating that the Steelers will be giving the Browns. No bias here. Sam, I'm going to come back to you because of the grand finale over there. Will capture all imaginations of journalistic coverage over there. I'm expecting big things from you, Hannah. Sam, what say you, sir?
I'm not saying this is going to be the beatdown that you think it's going to be.
I'm hoping.
You know what? It's funny because we obviously on our Pick'em show, we obviously spoke about old Baker not making it about himself. The first two plays, I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. I was like, this guy, he needs to prove his worth now for me. Can you lead a team? Well done, you got them into the playoffs, but don't let that be the end of your legacy. This is where he's got to step up. I just don't see it. I do see the Steelers winning this. I don't see the Browns going further than this, than this point. However, it won't be a beatdown. The Steelers have been a little bit sticky in a little bit of a rut. There was all this hype. Are they going to be unbeaten? And then that loss came, and it hasn't sort of shaken that sort of taken that duck off their back a little bit. It's actually caused a few problems, and people have seen the weaknesses. But yes, Dre, you'll be happy to know I'm still going to go with the Steelers. I just don't think it's going to. It's not going to be the beatdown. It's not going to be the beatdown that you expect.
Don't get it twisted, Browns fans. Don't get it twisted, Browns fans. That was a regular season game. You can get a beating that you deserve, and then your big mouth quarterback is out. Anna, do you agree with me?
Not really. I actually think what did I do on my Super Bowl bracket? I can't remember. Okay, there's two parts of this. I think, first of all, the Browns have got to be careful that they're not so excited to be there that they kind of lose focus. Because although they got the win over Steelers in just last week, it was obviously a Steelers team where a lot of players were rested, and
the B team.
It was very much a B team. And the Browns still had their problems. They hit a lull midway through the game. Their offensive line was giving up sacks. Their defense was giving up over 6 yards per play. And they gave up a load of penalties as well. Yes, they had limited practice last week due to COVID. Lo and behold, they've got limited practice this week due to COVID. And their play calling head coach, Kevin Stefanski, is not going to be at the game. So that does not bode well for the Browns. And my heart bleeds for Browns fans a little bit because they waited so long to get into the playoffs, and you're in a position, you have some sympathy, Dre, where they know that everything that's could work against them externally already is. That said, I think it's a good thing that Big Ben had a rest last week, because that Steelers offense sputtered into the end of the season. They've got an absolutely non-existent run game. Their defense is still playing well, but they, for me, were not the team. Even when they were unbeaten, they didn't look like an unbeaten team the way they were playing football. So I think they should have used this sort of last week or so really effectively. I think it's going to be quite a close game potentially, because I think the Browns are going to be extra fired up, and a lot of the Steelers starters will have had some rest. I think though the likelihood is, because Mayfield can be a bit like this, and when he has a dip in this game, the Steelers, I think, will make the Browns pay for it.
You see, you landed the plane right where I wanted you to land it, because this is going to be the end of the run for Baker Mayfield's big mouth. That's it. Over this time.
Wait, on Baker, if he's actually put in charge of making a few of these play calls himself as well, they are banging trouble, by the way, because he does make it about himself. I'm just going to say that if he gets put in charge of a lot of this play calling, we're in trouble.
He goes to the right.
Put up with you.
That's all that happens. He goes to the right. He panics and goes to the right. So therefore, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to go to the defense. Are going to go to their left and clap him like they should. And then he's going to be quiet and talk about other people's quarterbacks and keep them, predicting them and being just a front runner that he is.
That's how you really feel.
Yeah. It's not Cleveland people. Actually, I don't like the Cavs too. I don't like them. I don't like Philadelphia too.
Where does this issue come from? Sorry.
What, with Baker Mayfield?
No, with all of Cleveland apparently.
Oh, I'm not a LeBron fan, and then I am also not a Baker Mayfield fan. So therefore,
why not?
Why am I not a Cleveland? Well, that could take up a whole show.
Okay.
This has been going on a few years. My dispute with the city of Cleveland, and now I'm gonna add the city of Philadelphia to that as well, because
Hey, we're running on Hannah time here. Come on.
there's no
Let's
honor.
go.
Anyway,
When
Hannah.
you look back at who killed the most time in this episode, it will not have been me.
Well, we should put a timer on this one. I definitely was.
Oh, I have been. Trust me.
And but always a pleasure to have you. We will see who wins. This week, and then next week, fingers crossed, we have you back again. And
Everything's been cancelled. I'm free as a bird.
Yay! So we'll see troublemaking Hannah back next week, and Sam, we will see you back next week, so you can you like me are watching on from the gates, because none of our teams are in the playoffs and none of us teams made the finals in our fantasy football. Sad times.
Can we make some
to bring
time
that up.
next week? Can we make some time in next week's show to discuss Sam's moustache, because that's new from when I last saw you?
We can make that. We can make time.
I've always
now.
had the beard. I
We can
just
make time
yeah,
now.
Just
I
grilled
think
it once.
Sam's
quite
on
nice.
some type of journey that
I'm on
that's
my
gonna
lockdown
include
journey.
It's going to include some type of Harley Davidson pretty soon, or something like that. I don't know
I've
what's
got
going
the
on over there.
bikes. I've already got the bike.
There's
I've got the bikes.
there was a complete transition from him looking like an R&B singer to now looking like he's some WWE,
Wait, if Snoop can do it, I can do it. That's what I say.
Not sure that's quite accurate.
All right, we're out of time. As per usual, we've gone over as per usual, but this has been a hurry up. Hannah Wilkes, Sam Morgan. We'll see you next week and see how many we got right. I'm gonna enjoy myself a whole weekend full of NFL football. Let's do this.
Got nothing else to do.
Cheers, guys.